Hello everybody and welcome to my first video. This is Eren and this is my coloring process. I will show you here how I worked on a commission that I've been asked, and of course the video is faster than reality, but some places I'll slow it a bit to show you some of the details. So let's start. We take the clean liner, select it, and make sure that we only select the parts that are actually the ones we will be coloring later, so no extra pixels. And the first thing I do is start with adding a general tone to the drawing. Maybe I usually use a color that I know will be present in the picture, in the complete picture, and I put a gray background behind. I do this because it will help you to see if you went outside the lines with your base color and with the colors that you will apply later. This is not mandatory, you can do it if you want, but I think that it's very helpful in many cases. You see here and here. Okay, so we apply this base color all over it, and then we start adding the first basic tones to the skin and the other parts of the drawing. I usually select the skin tone or the parts of the clothing and fill them with the color, the base color. This is not the lighter color I will use, and it is not the darkest one, it's a middle color. Now after I fill it, I take the hard brush and give some strokes on the parts that are the borders, so with that and with the other parts of the drawing, they will be colored in separate layers with different colors. So I do this to make sure that I don't forget any extra pixel in the base color. So we do the same thing with the dress and the hair, and since this is a commission, here I had been asked to do a precise color scheme, so that is why I'm not playing around too much with the colors and just going straight for the ones that I knew I had to use. Alright? So I will show you the brushes that I use when coloring, and this is the hard brush with soft edges. It's the first one on the left. And I open my brush panel. I think it's a standard one. You can see that it's very soft. I always keep it at a lower opacity, but it's very soft. I use it for the base shadows, and I really adore this brush. I do practically everything with it. And then I use the perfectly hard brush. I usually select this one to do the line art. And then I use the soft round brush, which is the one that I use to merge the colors that I put on the drawing with the soft ended one. So the hard is for the line art, not for coloring, while the other one is the main one I use for coloring, and then I add the soft brush to merge everything together. And you will see this later in some of the steps. So going on, we select the hair, and when you color hair, you might have some problems not going out of the lines. So this is when the first layer we did before with the general tone, you know, the first total red color, you select that one and use that as a guide. Remember that when you forget a pixel, you always have to correct it and fill it in the right layer, because I'm keeping everything on a separate layer. You can see we get hair, and I usually give every layer a name so that I don't forget and it's quicker to use. So you just want to make sure that you keep them separate, and if you do, to respect it. So going on, we're working on the eyes here, and as you can see, I don't use the white for this part of the eye. I always use this grayish yellow color. I think it gives a much better effect at the end. So here we start putting the shadows. I selected a darker tone for the skin, and I start putting the shadows all over the face of this lovely girl. And I start by putting an overall dark shade, and then I will merge it with the rest of the color and will show you how. You can see here I'm selecting a middle tone between the shadows and the lighter tone that I use as a base, and put it at a very low opacity between the shadows and the base tone. So you can add it inside the shadow or a bit more on the lighter color, but make sure that they merge and that you don't see the end between the darker and the lighter one. Then I start adding the first lights, and I select of course a lighter tone, which is not white. Remember not to take white for this kind of steps. You will use white maybe later, so always try to remember that lighter doesn't mean white. So here I have forgotten a bit of shadow, and I will add it. So the first thing I do with the lights in it, start adding it below the eyes, near the nose, and on the forehead. Here you see I am already using a soft brush to merge everything, and then I will lighten up the nose and give it this pointy look. This is something that I always do to make my characters look cuter, to make their nose look a bit pointy. And now I blocked the pixels of my liner, and I'm filling the liner with a lighter tone of brown, but only where the liner separates two parts of skin. So I'm not putting in between the skin and the hair, but only in the skin, so you can see the difference from black and brown. This is something that we will work on again on later. This is the time for the second part of the shadowing process, and you take a color that is a little purplish, because we use a purplish color for the hair, and add it to the shadows. It will also always remember to do this, because every object we have projects its color on the next color. So she has got purple hair, and she will have some purplish shadows on her face, because that's how things work with light and shadows. So I add some purple all over the shadows of her face, and I repeat the same process I did before. I add it and then merge it using a mixed color between the purple for the shadows and the more pinkish color I used before, and do it all over her face. Of course, the parts that are darker, I will use more purple, and in the other ones I will merge it more with the pink color. Here on a separate layer I will add a bit of pink to the cheeks, and this will give her a youthful and cute look. And I will also add some pink on the nose. Here you can see the places where I usually add pink and where I usually add lighter tones, just like if she were wearing makeup, okay? And so here is the bit of pink on the nose, and then I erase the extra part and correct it a bit. And you can see this is very, very, very cute and delicate. Going on, it's time for the lips. I put a stronger pink color inside, and then make it look softer in the other part of the lips, while the upper lip is always very definite, defined, sorry, maybe, and the lower lips is much softer, and you don't have to color it wholly. And then it's time for the teeth. Remember to put a gray border, which is the shadows projected by the lips. And this is a nice result for now. We will go back on this later. The eyes. For the eyes, I start by working on a layer that's actually above the line art of the pupils. And here I chose another color. This is when you actually draw what they are looking at, because this is the direction in which she's looking. And then I start putting some lighter tones in the below the pupil and on the sides, and I will also add some lights inside the pupils like this. This is not something that I always do, but I do it sometimes, and it's something that you often see in video game art and these kind of things, and it very adds a cuter feeling to the eyes, I believe. And also go back on the borders of the eye with the eye color and not black. This is something I always do. At the white part outside, don't do it until the borders, just in the center of the eye, like the same height that you reached with the lighter color inside the pupils, okay? So you see that it's the same level of lighter colors. And you can add another layer of light. Always keep a circular shape because it is circular. And above all the others and above the line art, we are going to add these lights. You can see I start with a particular color which is not white, and then add white inside it, and it will look very bright. It will add a very bright feeling to the eyes. Okay, and here it's up to you how much you want to detail the eyes. This is where I usually stop. Inside and start working outside. So I add some pink and some black, like some sort of eyeliner, and something that I like doing, and it's part of my coloring process, but it's not something that you have to do if you don't like it, of course. And on adult characters I would be putting much more shadows behind the eye, under the eyes, but she's young, so I will keep it very soft. And working a bit on the eyelashes. And after this I will create a new layer and above the line art, and erase the line art of the eyelid and replace it with a darker tone and lighter tones. Okay, so you can see the eyelid, but you can't see the line art anymore. I think this is cuter and softer, and it is something that I often do, even if I keep the line art and under the colors or above the colors. I will do the same thing with the nose, so I will select a middle tone between the line art and the colors of the skin, and put it above the line art, and I will do it with the mouth as well, on the lips, because as I said before, this will give a softer and nicer look. You don't have to do it on the face borders, but I usually do this on eyes, eyelids and nose and lips. So after doing this, it's time to work on the lights a bit more. And I will always remember that I always create new layers when I do new parts of my drawings. And so we select a lighter color which is not white yet, and use the soft-ended brush to merge it with the rest of the face. And we are going to put it where we put the first lights. So behind, under the eyes, near the nose, and here we will add it near the lips, above the lips and on the chin. You see, this will give her a very nice mouth, which is very delicate and cute. And we will also add the lights of the lips. Remember, you do this on the lower or on the upper lip, but not on both of them. This will give her a natural lipstick look. And we will add some small light details around the face. And now it's time to go on the hair. On a new layer, we are going to add some shadows. You can see here I used a color which is very near to black, and I'm going all over the lines that I did in the line art, and on the entire mass of the hair. And sometimes I usually select a small brush, but I also use the soft round one to do the big areas of shadows. On a separate layer we're going to put the lights, and we are going to do this with a blue purplish color. I don't like to make the lights on the black hair with gray color because it will make the character look older. If you're drawing an older character you can use gray, but if you're going to color a portrait of a young person you should use purple or blue colors. And we will add lighter tones, and then we're going for a new shade of gray and lights above all the face, not gray, sorry, purple and light, to make everything merge better. We then put the lights in the neck here, so we are going to do that now. And we are also adding some whiter borders to the face to enlighten it a bit. And now it's time to color the clothes. Using the same process as before, we put a middle tone, we merge it with the base color, and then we add lights. It's absolutely the same thing. So here I also added some purple color behind, maybe you saw it before because the flowers will be purple, so I added some small gradient behind, under the flowers. I'm sorry, I'm keeping saying behind instead of under. Same for the yellow part of the clothes, and add some lights, and you can make it look softer or harder depending on what kind of cloth you're drawing. And now it's time for the details of the necklace and the lace on the clothing, and the gemstone in her pendant. We'll do that too, and put overall color, and then add a gradient down and some lights and the reflection of the colors of the clothes. You see, this is very, very, very nice. And add the gold above because it reflects the golden borders, and that's what we have been doing until now. Always remember to use the colors that you have around the thing you're coloring to make the shades. So if the color next to the hand is red, you will put some red on the hand. If it's green, you'll put some green. And so now we selected the flowers using the base red color that we used before, and we are going to add the shadows all over it just as we did before. So the round brush with soft edges and some touches with the very, very soft and round brush all over it, all over again. And this is a bit long, so I accelerated this a lot. I am not very familiar with flowers, so I rarely draw or color flowers, so this has been a bit harder for me, but I think that the final result is not too bad. And always remember to keep it very, very soft, because flowers are probably, they should look even softer than skin, because they are delicate, they are nice, they are parts of nature, and this is very, very important for you to keep it very soft. And so these flowers, this kind of flower that I'm drawing here has a natural yellow shade inside it. So in a separate layer I'm going to add some yellow color on some of the petals like this, and then erasing the extra color that is not meant to be there. Okay, you can see it. And I know it might seem strange that only the outer petals are colored with yellow, but it's how the flowers actually look. And then I played a bit with the color settings, and here I put it in a very, very strong red just to see it better when I was coloring. It's not in particular use. And like this, and then I changed the hue a bit, and that was the reference. And here on another layer I used a textured brush to add some texture to the flowers to make them look a bit nicer. He was trying something, but I didn't like it. And then at the end I will add some lighter colors above the line art to make them look even softer. Here I didn't like the nose anymore, so I just erased that strong line I had drawn, because it gave her a very adult face. Now I want to keep it very childish and cute, so I changed her nose. And from here I start working on the very background of the picture. I had to work with on a monochromatic background, so here I tried to understand which was the best one, and I went for this bluish color, and I added some purple above, just to remember that, just to recall that I don't know, that her family color is purple. And then I played with the borders a little bit, and then I will actually change it later on, because you will see, and I will add the golden this golden contour above everything. These are the steps that I don't sometimes I don't think about this kind of things from the start. I just do it at the end, as I follow my inspiration, so I change ideas many times. And so here I'm just cleaning the new yellow color and make it look softer, and put some blur on it with a blur tool, not with the blur filter, because the blur filter would blur also the outside part. Here I separated the border on her face from the border of the frame and lowered the opacity on her. And here is when I start playing with layers and colors, and if you hear some strange noises behind, it's my neighbor's dog that's barking. Sorry, I can't do anything about it. So here I play with colors and with multiply and overlay and all these nice filters that you have in the layer panel. I'll suggest you to play with these layers, because they will change the style of your drawings, and sometimes you can find some very nice solutions that you hadn't thought about before. And here, this is a trick I use to erase. You invert, and so you see what you have erased and what you haven't. This is very useful. And some more details and nice things, and these are really nice. The last steps, my signature over there, and that's it. This is the final result, and I hope you like it, and I hope you like this video. If you have any question, please write it in the comments below, and I will answer. And thank you for watching, and see you next time. Bye bye.